guys, ShartimusPrime here, doing another Medicom toy MAFEX action figure review on the Batman Knightfall comic series Bane. This figure is one that I slept on because I just don't like the head size. It looks too big to me and it bothers me. Century Productions has pushed me to get this. I think Nacho Cheese is the one who actually really made me go ahead and buy this thing. A lot of you have pushed me to get this, and we'll see if I like it or not. I'm very curious about it. Packaging looks good as always with your MAFEX figures. You get Batman written right there, and you can see Bane. It says Batman on the top. On this side, you can see Bane right there. And then on the back, you get a whole bunch of product shots. There's the Batman Knightfall figure, which I'm sleeping on also. And then it says Batman up at the top over there. And there's not much more at the bottom, so let's get to it and crack this thing open. And if you're trying to get your MAFEX figures, you can do so at
Big! Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
And here's the MAFEX Bane figure out of the packaging, and I have to admit, this is not a bad looking figure entirely. I have my head size gripe, which I'll talk about more in a little bit, in comparison to comic issues and everything as well. But I gotta say, I'm not playing that tribalistic bullshit here, man. Just because I love the McFarlane Toys 2-pack Bane figure, it's not going to mean that I'm going to automatically hate everything about this, because I did have fun posing it around. It does have its issues. We'll get into that, even with the articulation. So anyway, it's not a bad figure at all. I did have fun with it, all right? So let's get a closer look at the accessories, and then we'll get a closer look at this Bane. So the figure comes with the two different mask options. You get all these accessories right here, plus these added clamp stands that you don't really need for the figure. I don't know what you're going to use these for. This rod right here, then this other clamp, and then this cradle right here. You don't need all that. This is actually one of those rare cases where the larger clamp just works perfectly with the figure. So this is just fine the way it is. I did have to tighten some of the joints, but you know, that's how they made it so that you could do that. And at first I thought maybe I don't need all these interchangeable hands to go with the Bane figure. The fists are just fine. But you know what? I love that they included all these different hands. I feel like it actually pushes you to pose the figure more. You know, it's almost like, I dare you. Here's all these different options for you. So anyway, the fists look good. I like the silver on the knuckles right there. Looks great. You have a set of relaxed hands over here. We get a set of finger pointers looking pretty good. I like the flesh tone. Looks nice. And then you have these wide open hands. You actually have two different kinds of wide open hands. You know, these have the big sprawled out hands. These are more like grabbing, which unfortunately there's a little bit of little paint scuff right there. A little added flesh tone right there. So yeah, not happy about that. Silver looks good on all of them. Then you have these slapping hands or running hands right over here, which also look pretty good. So I've said it a million times already, I do think the head size is too big, and this mask just makes it look a little bigger than the other mask option. There's parts where I can see some of the black running over the white, or it's more of a midnight blue color. It doesn't look bad though. It's just a little on the big side, I think. And then you can see that zipper going across the top of the head, and there's the seam so you can remove the front of the mask. Really like all these tubes back here. We'll get a closer look at that in a minute, but I did want to show off the other option. You just peel that off, put this one on here, and it looks a little better. Just having the smaller eyes, and I don't know, just changing that, it messes with it and just makes it look a little smaller. So I prefer having this one on here than seeing it compared to the McFarlane Toys head sculpt. This one's like, their heads are about the same size. And you'll see later on how much drastically larger this one is than this one. And then I figured it out. Basically, the reason why there's such differing opinions between these two Bane figures is because this one right here is for the covers. Okay, this is your covers version, then this one right here is for the interiors, right? So if you think to yourself, well, these guys are the posers because they're not actually reading the books to see them, he should look more like this. Well, you have a point there, but also, I think if he didn't look so badass on the covers like this one, well, maybe you wouldn't have bought the book in the first place. So it's teach their own. Looking at the rest of the figure, you can see that he is very muscly, as he should be, and I really like the flesh tone. I like the veins. Unfortunately, you can see some black coming through some parts, or maybe that's shadowing, actually. I thought I saw black plastic through there, but now I'm looking at it with more light on it. It looks like it's just the shadows. I feel dumb. But there's still like a little bit of gray seeping through here and there, you know? I don't know. It's like underneath the flesh tone, I feel like I see it. The band looks pretty good. I do have a little bit of scuffage right over here, so that's unfortunate. The hairs look alright. Not my favorite hair deco, but it's sufficient, and you get a bunch of hair on the back. So I think that's pretty good. It's alright. You can see that big old seam right over here. And then you can see the hair on the arms. So I like the flesh tone. The hair could be a little bit darker, I guess. But if it gets too dark, I don't know. People may not like that. It depends on how it would come out if they did do it darker. I like how his suit right here is actually sculpted on. It's not just painted. It does look a little bit weird when you bend this diaphragm cut, but I don't know what else you could do about that. Maybe sculpt this to help it make it look like it fits the rest of the body more. I don't really know. But maybe if the sculpting went through a little further, that would help. You can see we get some nice silver right here for the belt. You're just looking at the back. Nice stretchy material sculpted right there. Again, the silver tube looks great for his Bane Venom. And then you can see we get some stretchy right there for the pants. And yeah, he doesn't have like the thick pockets or anything like that like this one does. It looks a little bit more comic accurate right here. I do like the glossiness for the boots, and we actually have shoelaces painted gray right here, so do appreciate that. And you get treads at the bottom of the feet. So the articulation is badass. I just have the one real gripe with this figure. You have a ball joint at the neck and at the head, so he can look up very far, which is pretty good, and he can look down a bit, and you get side-to-side motion, of course, and great pivoting. There is some gappage with the pivoting, though, so be mindful of that. Without the gappage, he'll turn his head about that far. You can shift up and down at these butterfly joints, and they pivot forward and back a bit. You can get the shoulder to move up and outward way above the 90-degree mark. Move them all the way in, rotate forward, rotate back. I mean, this side you can do a full 360. You get the bicep swivel. You have the pinless double jointed elbows. You have the wrists that turn side to side and hinge up and down or horizontally, depending on how you have it configured. You have the diaphragm cut, diaphragm pivoting, crunches forward very far. Wow, that's a lot of forward crunch for a diaphragm joint right there. I like that. And it moves back a bit as well. Similar articulation at the waist with the pivoting, twisting side to side, and pivoting. So with both joints and not moving the hips, you could crunch forward that far, which is damn amazing for such a huge character figure like this. I do like it. And then you have drop down hips. You can get the legs moving all the way outward, so Bane can do the splits, and he can kick all the way forward, all the way back, upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed knees, and then no boot rotation, but you have rotation at the foot of the boot, and you can move it down a little bit. It moves up a little bit. Weak ankle pivot. Oh, man. See, it's not broken, at least, but yeah, it's on a dumbbell joint, and that I didn't expect. That one really caught me off guard. It loses points for that for sure. It's a MAFEX figure. Like, what the heck? So the ankle pivot just moves that much. And it's there, but man, that is frustrating. That's not sufficient for a MAFEX figure. And it has toe articulation, which is actually nice. Now to measure out the height of this Bane figure for a MAFEX, it's not too bad, standing at about 7.5 inches tall. Then for some size comparisons, you can see this MAFEX Bane next to our Batman Hush figure and the Hush Poison Ivy figure. And I don't have the Knightfall Batman from MAFEX, but I will be getting it soon, so stay tuned for that review. But the height difference between these figures right here is actually looking pretty good. Again, that head size though, that is too much. I know there are panels where it looks a little bit more like that, but still not all of them, and it is a little oversized. It just is. You don't get a bigger skull when you gain muscle mass. Your skull doesn't grow, dude. And then here's Bane next to the MAFEX Dark Knight Returns Batman figure, and man, MAFEX knows how to make an articulated, chunky figure. They just do a really good job with that. And then for your Bane comparison, you can see we have the Mattel DC Multiverse Bane, and then here we have the Knightfall 2-pack DC Multiverse Bane from McFarlane Toys, which is my favorite McFarlane Toys Bane figure. Out of these three, which is your favorite? I know a lot of people are going to say this one. I'm still leaning towards this one. The verdict is out for me at the moment. I don't know yet. I'm leaning towards this one. But it could be that one. I don't know yet. And just to see it, here's the MAFEX Bane next to the DC Multiverse Batman from the Knightfall 2-pack. And yeah, they don't scale together. I'll have a better idea if this is my favorite Bane figure or not once I pose them with the MAFEX Knightfall Batman. And here's the MAFEX Bane next to your average 6-inch scale figure. We have the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. Well, I know you can't break me. I've been broken so many times. Well, no, I don't want to get it out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, take your thumb and shove it over into that like button. And if you're new here and you don't want to miss out on my future videos, well, move that thumb over to that subscribe button. And I gotta thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it, especially because this figure has been out for hella long. So if any of you came back to check out what I think about the figure long after it's been sold out at most retailers, well, hey, I especially appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I really do. This figure, I feel like, and with this particular video with this figure, I think it's going to be a little bit less biased based off of all the hype, you know what I mean? Like, I'm less affected by the hype of the figure, even though I do think it is very cool. But I do have problems with it. I think that the ankle pivot is just really bad on this figure, so I am frustrated with the ankle pivot. The paint job on the figure is actually pretty impressive, though. It's definitely the best painted Bane figure that we have, so I really love the paint applications on this, and I think the head size is too big, so yeah, that still frustrates me. But overall, this is a very fun figure. I understand the hype, so I really do like the figure a lot. It is expensive, you know, that Knightfall 2-pack was $70. This all by itself is like $115. I think that's how much I paid for it. So at that price point, which again is just not cheap, but still very cool figure, I'm going to give this Bane a sud rating of...
I love it!
And I'd like to know what you guys think. I bet most of you love it. I assume so anyway. But let me know, again, in the comment section below. I do read the comments. If you want to see the latest in action figure news, you can find it all over at toynewseye.com. And if you want to stay in touch with me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, whatnot, and on Mercari. And I will catch you guys later. Peace!
That's crispy.
Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't. Your face,